actual real life commercials.
Yeah. So again, Common Sense Medicine, we are changing directions. We did many fantastic weeks on mental health and anxiety, and it wrapped up in a great episode with Lacey last week. And
Yes.
girl, I learned so much.
That was such a fun episode, and just, very informative, good information. So it's good all around.
Yeah. Well, and so now, probably these next 6 weeks, we'll be shifting in something that I think is really, really applicable. And it starts off with habits.
Yes. Habits. Yes. Yeah. Just talking all about habit change. Is this where we talk about what we're doing for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. So
We're getting excited.
yes. So today's episode is about habits, implementing new habits, how to maintain new habits, all those things. And then for the next 6 weeks, we're going to guide you through developing some habits. Okay. So we're going to give you 5 different habits in the coming weeks. And then week 6 is the habit of your choice if we've missed one that you've been wanting to implement. But the idea is implementing small change little by little makes those big lifestyle changes. So it's usually like the little changes that can just add up over time.
Exactly. Yeah. Today, right, like you said, we're going to explain why these habits are important, but it's like you said, the next 6 weeks, we're really excited because we feel like we found 6 really, really easy ones that can make huge differences in your metabolic health, your mental health, just your overall health in general. And so today we're going to be explaining the idea of making habits, of keeping habits, of breaking bad habits, and really the mindset that you probably should have when you're starting something new. And this could be anything from I want to lose weight to I want to read more books to I want to learn a new musical instrument or learn a new language. All those tasks that you want to do, it all depends on the habits you choose.
Right. Yeah. Anything that requires change in life, even, career changes, anything that requires change is going to require some development of new habits. And that's what we're here to tell you how to do.
Yes, Melissa. So we're going to start off with a quote that my AI made. It says, "Your habits determine your lifestyle. Make each habit a conscious choice that brings you closer to the life that you desire." Which sounds so profound. And I asked the AI where it found that, and it said it made it up. But then when I told it to give me one, it was really similar. I think there's been quotes after quotes after quotes with this same line of thinking.
Right. Yeah. And I think when we were talking about that, we even said, well, habits are your lifestyle, and your lifestyle is a combination of your habits. They go hand in hand.
Exactly. Like I said, it's a culmination of all the habits that you're doing. That's essentially what happens with our lifestyle. And a lot of times I tell patients, especially now, to really think about, so for example, I ask people to think, what do you want your life to be like when you're 60 years old? We're almost 40. Right? We're getting there.
Right,
and so
around the corner.
Yeah. And people, near this time, they start feeling maybe their mortality a little bit. Our body's not the same, but it's a fun exercise to think like, what would you like your life to be like when you're 60? And be detailed. I have patients that'll tell me things like, you know what, I hope to have some grandkids by then. And I was like, well, what do you want to do with your grandkids? I was like, if they want to go to the park, I want to be able to take them to the park. So you walk them to the park. Maybe they want a piggyback ride. My kids love it. And so, they want grandpa to give a piggyback ride. They want to, maybe they're getting near the age of retirement. They want to take their wife or spouse, to Florida, and we're going to go to Disney, and we're going to walk, 5 miles to eternity. And you're thinking that, and then you kind of bring it back. You're like, okay, well, can you walk to the mailbox now without knee pain or back pain? And when I think that picture hits, they're like, I can't even do that well now. How am I going to do this in 20 years? And we're here to tell you to do that in 20 years, you start with habits now.
Yeah, you got to start now.
Yeah. So, So we actually brought this book. I was reading it. It's called Atomic Habits. And so it's actually a really, really nice book by a guy named, I think, James Clear was his name. And he brought up some really, really good points about how to make habits. And so we're going to kind of go over some of those points. So these are not our original own, but we're hoping. Yeah.
We can use them as guidance.
That's right. So we're going to shout out to the guy. If this is your book, congrats, you're getting free endorsement from us.
Yes.
I think the first step of a habit forming is really focusing on the 1%, right? It's really, really small changes, sometimes almost completely, unnoticeable. But I think for our patients, a lot of times, if they're not seeing big changes, they get kind of discouraged and they stop.
Right. And I think part of what he's saying too is that for the changes to stick, they have to be pretty small and manageable. And then you build on those each day.
Correct.
I don't know what's a good habit. Like maybe drinking more water. Maybe you just increase your water intake by like a half a cup a day, at first, instead of getting one of those big gallon jugs and saying, I'm going to do this every day.
Correct.
For some people that's doable. You can kind of change something overnight, fine. But for the majority of people to incorporate something new in your life, gradual change is usually the type of change that sticks.
Correct. Exactly. And so, the first thing we will recommend patients to start with is start with a goal that you want, right? And so let's say we'll put weight loss, since that is the thing that everybody is fighting for. The first step when we talk about looking at the 1% is like, you're not going to lose a pound a day. Don't even put that as as an expectation that you have. We're thinking of things like maybe half a pound a week or maybe half a pound every other week. So really, really small, almost not enough for you to notice when you step on the scale. Like people that are weighing themselves every day, you won't notice. But when we're focused on just 1% change, you will not get discouraged if your mindset is right. And really what we've learned is this 100-hour rule. Like if you improve just 1%, over 100-hour time span, you will be like the top 90th percentile of whatever craft you decide to choose, right? So it's those small habits, like you were saying, Melissa, that it just builds. Like you start small and then you keep building. And as you build, you'll get to the goal at the end, but to have your mind ready to be like, okay, I'm okay with just 1%. That's, I think, the first step.
Yeah.
Which then brings us to the second thing is this idea of behavior change, right? So half the thing with habit is changing the behavior, right? And so in this book, they talk about essentially 4 big laws that happen, at which the first one, Melissa, will bring in is making it... Making it obvious. Okay, so Melissa, I'm going to ask you a question. Making it obvious is essentially like having cues and things like that help remind you that you're doing this habit, right? So the one example they gave here is like, let's say you want to drink more water. Well, the first step is maybe getting a water bottle that you like. So what's the name of that water bottle? I think every single one of our nurses have.
How do you... It's the Stanley. I mean, we've got to bring him up to time.
I'm just too old. Yes, but it's like almost... I don't know how it became so popular. Yeah. But it is popular.
But if it's trendy and you like it and that's going to encourage you to drink more water, fine. Yeah. Like get you a $40 Stanley cup. And I'll bring this. This is mine. I like this. It's Iron Flask. It's much cheaper on Amazon, but I like it because it doesn't spill. You can throw it into your bag, and you know. So, I mean, Iron Flask, you can call us. So
that's right. Sponsorship, please. We need affiliate marketing.
I mean, Stanley's going to be old news.
That's right. Yeah, I think it was like the regular big cups. What is those brands? It's not. Oh my goodness, it's not Orca, but it was another big frozen brand.
Yeah, like the big fat ones.
Yes.
But you can't put those in a cup holder.
You can't. That's all. It doesn't fit in a cup holder. So, but yes, like I said, making it obvious is like, right, whatever it takes to maybe, okay, now I bought a Stanley cup. They drink more water, you know, or having something out.
If that works for you, do it.
Yeah.
Getting a new pair of shoes may motivate you to walk more.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and so Melissa, what I wanted to ask you was, you didn't used to do weight training,
Right.
but now you are doing weight training. So,
Yes.
and now it's a habit. I mean, you
Yes.
get up at the crack of dawn
Mm-hmm.
and get it knocked out. How did you make it obvious to you that, okay, this is what okay, so you start maybe with a goal, like I want to increase weight training.
Yeah.
What was one of the things that maybe verbal cues that, okay, something that reminds you every morning I need to get this done?
It was just kind of incorporating it into my routine. And for me, it was like this, midlife, I mean, we talk like we're, over the hill, but I guess we kind of are because, if life expectancy is, say, I don't know what it is now, like 76 or something, like the end of our life now is like closer than the beginning,
Right, right, yeah.
So, I guess that kind of is what, and in talking about these habit changes and health span versus lifespan and all this, I think for me, it was, I just want to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible so that my quality of life is good. If we get to make it to retirement, I want to be able to do the things that I want to do. I want to be able to travel and, do all the things that, we look forward to in our golden years. But if you don't take care of your health, those years aren't going to be golden at all.
Correct.
You'll be just going to doctor's offices and probably not as active and different things. So anyway, that's kind of like quick backstory. But yeah, I just knew like practically I need to add this to my routine. And I started out with just like 20 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm going to do this twice a week. And that's it. Like, and I did that like at the end of the day, usually after work, before dinner, sometime in there, that little tiny window. And I just started doing it. Within a couple months, I started noticing like changes, that
I
I was
noticed your triceps, Melissa, there popping.
just feeling stronger and, just feeling better overall. And I knew I wanted to then increase. So then I found a program that's longer workouts. And to make that change, I knew I had to move the time of my workout. So I moved it to a morning workout so that I could have a full hour to myself to commit to, this thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's been really, pivotal. And there have been times of my life where I've done morning workouts. There's been times that I've done evening workouts. This may work for me for a long time and change, but the idea is the habit is there now. And no matter like where I put it, it's just like part of what I do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't want to like skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good because, I mean, you're essentially describing these process of what it takes to make it a habit. The first one is obviously you had a desire, right? You noticed that. And that's a really good motivation because, like I said, it's hard for us as humans to think that far. And most of us aren't. We're instant gratification type of people, right? But to notice, right, if you want to travel, let's say you want to go to Rome with Ryan, y'all want to walk around the Colosseum, it is hot and you have to have strength and endurance and, you can't be having your knees hurting, because we've been overweight or obese for 20 years. Like those dreams start now, right? And so now that you had that goal, you started with something obvious. It's okay, well, then to do that, I need to start some weight training. And to do that, I had to find a way to obviously put it into my schedule. Another thing that you're describing in your story that was part of this book was also like making it easy and satisfying. So making it easy is kind of like, and I remember you told me this, if you want weight training, you got to get dumbbells.
Yeah.
Right?
That was my Christmas present.
That's exactly right. You asked for dumbbells.
I mean, I don't even know who I am.
I wonder what Ryan thought when he was like, dumbbells.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But I use them all the time, every day. 5 days a week. So,
yeah. And right. So some of it might just take an investment, right? Like, okay, I know going to the gym with kids, having kids coming home, working full time, going to the gym is just not an easy thing for you to do. So to make it easy, I purchase dumbbells.
Yeah.
Right? And to make it easy, sometimes I don't know what to lift. I purchase an app, and an app tells me what to do. And things like that really make it easier to keep that habit than saying, okay, I don't have the dumbbells. I want to do weight training, so I got to go to the gym. Then something happens. Maybe you go on vacation, you kind of get out of that routine. And the next thing you know, you're right back to where you were.
Right. If I had to leave my house to do my workouts, like to go to a gym, like in this stage of life, it just wouldn't happen. You know, maybe someday when the kids are older, yeah, maybe I'll have a gym membership again, you know, but for now, like to fit it into my day, it has to be done at home. And somebody has to tell me what to do. And that's that app. Like if I was just kind of willy-nilly trying to figure this out on my own, I wouldn't know what to do. And I would probably like not really make much progress and just kind of give up on it. So kind of investing in something that makes it easy and straightforward, it's huge. It's the way that you can build it into your day.
Yeah. And then, like, you know, another thing I think, especially with building these habits, is making it attractive, right? So, like, obviously you've noticed changes in your body, so that's always kind of fun. But, like, you don't have to, if weight training is not your thing, you don't have to do weight training. You know, if running is fun for you, go running. You know, and even like, so I like weight training, but even in that, like what made it more fun was change the playlist. You know, I made a workout playlist that I like that gets my mind and body into this zone when I'm working out. And so things like that you can do to make it really attractive. Again, just doing that can also help make this habit better. Yeah. So another point I think, and this is kind of tied together, is making it satisfying.
Yeah. You've got to have some sort of like positive feedback or, you know, some sort of gratification from it to be able to, you know, keep it going. And yeah, to that point, I never really have liked strength training. And that's why I always did other things. I was always like cardio. But when I started doing it and saw results from it and, you know, how I feel, different things like that, it made me want to do it more. And so that gratification or that positive feedback loop, you know, that the book talks about, we're kind of hitting it all. But yeah, it definitely just reinforces those habits so that you're more likely to keep doing them.
Yeah. And exactly. So even things like rewarding yourself, right? So you have worked out with these small dumbbells. You have gotten to a level where you need to upgrade to newer ones, the ones that adjust, that are fancy. That's a satisfying reward to see progress, you know? And even sometimes we're on this thing of exercise, and weight loss. You might not see the weight go down, but things that are satisfying and maybe rewarding are now that, like, hey, I used to not be able to do 20-pound squats. You know, now I can do them relatively easily, you know? And you might notice other things like, hey, back in the day, if I parked far from Walmart, I'm huffing and puffing by the time I get there. But now I can go without any issues. Maybe back in the day when we went on our evening walks, I could only walk so long without knees hurting. But now you can't. And that's part of, you know, the mindfulness technique of being present, of noticing the now. That is satisfying, that's rewarding, that can kind of keep pushing you to continue on whatever habit journey you want to do. Yeah. So, yeah, my thing actually this year was read more books, and I hate reading books. I don't know how I became a doctor. I was like,
I didn't read a book for years after I finished school.
That might
like
be,
it ruined me for a long time. Now I read every day, but it took me years to get back to like even wanting to pick up a book and read.
Yeah. Exactly. And so same with me. I'm like, with kids, it's hard to find quiet time to sit down and read. But, you know, things that made it enjoyable is finding topics that was interesting. Audible, if you sponsor affiliate marketing, I use Audible like crazy. But that's another way. Like, I can read in the car. I can get information in. And that's the way I learn. That makes it easy for me. So even like, I don't have to sit here and look at words on a page, but listening to it, you know, there's just things that, and now I think I just finished my like 15th book so far this year through Audible. And I feel like I've learned so much, and it's become enjoyable and it's fun. And I take what I learn and I teach it to patients. And I feel like those are things that before, like if you say, are you a bookworm? I'm like, heck no. But now, like I said, I'm still getting that information, and it shows you that these processes can happen. Like these habits can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can be anything you want to be. You know, a lot of the habits that we are going to take you through in the next few weeks are health related. You know, this is a medical, like health related, you know, podcast.
That's right.
But habits apply everywhere in your life, whether that's your spending habits or, things like reading or, you know, self development or all kinds of different things that you can focus on. And the point is, you know, how do you build the habit and make it part of your life? You know?
Yeah, for sure. Which I guess, you know, shifting onward, part of it, I guess, as you're building these habits, it does require you to almost tell yourself that you're this type of person, you know? So like, right, if you're an unhealthy person, the mindset you have to tell yourself is you are a healthy person. We just have to get there. You know, it's like, it's kind of like, you know, when Michelangelo did the sketch of David and he sat there and he just stared at that marble slab. The story goes anyway. He sat there and stared at things for a long time because essentially he was looking for David to pop out of there. And then he just released David when he was, you know, working on the marble. The idea is that too, like you as a person, if you want to be a healthy person, that person is in there. We just have to do the work and put in the effort, and we'll kind of segue. There is no shortcut with this.
Right.
You have to put the effort in. The mindset has to be right. Like you have to be like, okay, I am a healthy person. The goal of how I'm going to be healthy is this. This is how I'm going to do it. But once you have that plan, if there is no effort, like there are days, Melissa, I'm sure you wake up, you don't want to lift. Your muscles are sore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. Alarm goes off at 4:15.
Yeah.
Drag myself out of bed. But once I do it and have done it, I always feel better. But yeah, it takes effort to make a change. Whether that's adding strength training to your routine or drinking more water or, you know, finding a new career, you know, anything that you are working towards, it's going to take effort. We didn't get anything in our lives without effort.
That's right.
You know, we went to school, you know, to, you know, get our career. We, you know, hopefully had to put some effort into like our relationships to, you know, get married and, you know, all the things that you accomplish in life. It's not because it just happens,
Right.
You know, you have to work on pursuing those things.
Exactly. All right. And even I would say when you work at something and you get some feedback, right, you get a small win, right? Like we said, you got a little stronger. You notice your dumbbell weight has gone up, you know, that makes it worth more than getting it for free, right? You realize you did something hard, right? You know, last week we did a little video on choosing your heart. Like you had a hard obstacle. You accomplished that hard obstacle. That reinforces you to say, you know what, if I can do that thing, I can do something else. I can have, you know, what do they say? Like the behavior is the evidence. Like now you've changed your behavior a little bit. That's evidence that you can keep going. You can do better. You know, so even like if you check your blood sugars, hey, I've changed my diet. I've noticed my blood sugar is going down. That is a win. And you take that win and that's just affirmation that, yes, you are a healthy person. No, you don't have to be a diabetic. Like we can get better, but it also revolves around we just have to have effort.
Yeah. Effort. Have some confidence in yourself. You know, everybody starts somewhere. So you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect at whatever it is when you first start.
Right.
The whole point is, you know, putting in that effort so that you can get better and better by a small percentage, like 1% better each day.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect wrap up. So Melissa, I guess to wrap everything up, we'll start at the top. You know, starting at the top is let's find a goal. Whatever it is, you know, whether it's drinking more water, whether it's more exercise, whether it's more time with your family, even that takes, you know, effort. Number 2 is once you have this goal, first off, it's the 1%. It's the small wins. It's the small changes. It's the things like that you look for. It might not always present like what you think it would present as. You might think, It will present as scales coming down, the scales shrinking, but it might present more like you feel stronger. Emotionally, you feel better. Yes, you can do more now. Things like making it obvious, right? Things like making it enjoyable, making it satisfying, making it easy. There is no shame in making your goals easier, like making it easier for you to achieve your goal. And then, like you said, once you start seeing evidence of the behavior change, once you start seeing the evidence of the small wins, celebrate those wins. You deserve a pat on the back for achieving those wins, but also don't just stop there, but keep pushing and be consistent and put some effort.
Yeah. Yeah. I would only add maybe not rely too much on a deadline, especially when it comes to like health focused changes, because if we say, we want to lose such and such weight by this date and we don't hit that, we're going to quit, And so I think just making these changes with the thought that this is something I'm going to do the rest of my life. This is not a habit that I'm changing to prepare for a wedding or to prepare for my next doctor's visit so my numbers look better just for like a brief moment of time.
Right. We see y'all doing that.
And then just let it all go after that. It's those changes that you're making for your lifetime. So letting go of the deadlines a little bit.
Yeah. Melissa, that's really good. Right. It's not to make us happy, right? Like we love it when you're succeeding, don't get me wrong, but right, this is for your life, right? This is for your goals in the future. This is for your quality of life, your health span, which I think, Melissa, probably next week, let's talk about aging and health span and lifespan and maybe why it's important to bend the curve. Like I sound like we're doing the COVID again, flatten the curve. We don't want to do, I think when you see the image of what the average health span, lifespan pattern looks like, it's kind of like sad. And I think we don't have to be like that.
Yeah.
And we'll bring in some data from when people live to 100, how that's different than maybe what our average health span, lifespan is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Melissa, any other thoughts you have?
No, I think that covers it. Okay. I guess we'll start with our first habit next week, right? Yes. Are we going to do like a mini little episode
so actually
for each habit?
Yeah, okay. So actually we're about to record a little 5-minute introduction on what we're doing.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah.